Good morning. Good morning, dear colleagues, students and friends. Thank you again for being here today. And I hope you enjoyed your evening yesterday in Barcelona. And this is our second and last day of this third edition of the International Seminar on Library and Information Education and Research. Today we will tackle another topic, which is the LIS research. I'm pleased to introduce our next speakers, Professor Dr. Jordi Ardanuy and Dr. Cristóbal Urbano. Dr. Ardanuy and Dr. Urbano are professors in the Department of Library and Information Science at the University of Barcelona. Conference, Some Research Questions to Frame a European Union Overview on Library and Information Science Research. Whenever you like. Questions after the debate, not after the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luis. Thank you all for being here at these early hours of the morning. And, well, thanks to the Facultat to inviting us to be involved in that presentation. I will say the same that yesterday said Ángel Borrego, that we say yes, we can do an overview of LIS research as a twin presentation to that yesterday did Ángel. But we were a little foolish to say yes, because the first intention was to do the same methodology that Ángel did through the web pages, to the websites, and actually we discovered some important evidence that the information about research lines, research outputs in the website is even worse in LIS sites than about teaching. And this is important because our principal idea is that maybe the weakest point of LIS research in Europe is that there is a lacking of agendas or research agendas and collaboration. And we think it's important to have trustable, good information in the website about the project, the research lines, and the agendas. So our intention is to share with you a work in progress. We turn to the easy way to do this overview, that is to exploit data from a database. In our case, we did through Scopus database. And our intention is to share with you this work in progress to feed the roundtable discussion that follows our presentation latest this morning. Considering the expertise of the roundtable participants, Jordi and I prefer to think of ourselves as the opening act for the main characters, the roundtable participants, and you. Well, we'll go through this outline, a little introduction that you can read also in the web page of the program. We will focus the overview in two aspects: a general view of the trend in the production by countries and by subjects. And our main focus, we decided to focus in collaboration, because we are here gathered to discuss, and we will depart after the seminar, and maybe we don't take advantage of this collaboration. And actually, our thesis, our departure point is that the collaboration among LIS researchers in Europe is very weak, as you can see later. We are working, this is a work in progress, and to go further, to get published in a good journal with this data we are now just exploring, doing exploration. We have three questions that we will share with the panelists later. Well, we have exploited almost 30,000 records from Scopus from over the world, from 151 journals classified as LIS journals. But as you can know, more of these journals also are computer journals or management journals and so on. It's the debate. When you have to assess LIS research, what is the set of journals you have to evaluate in order to do rankings, to do assessment, and so on. And, well, this is the question, how to delimit the LIS research field. Yesterday, in the education track was similar, this debate. Another cumbersome question is how to define research. What qualifies as research? Every publication is an expression of real research, or is an expression of opinion, or is an expression of a reflection. It's a very typical question in all the literature about LIS research. And the most important thing, how to assess the research agendas. You can see our question is not how to assess the researchers, how to assess impact, but how to assess the research agendas. Maybe later Hasselhall could explain us what is the move that has happened in the United Kingdom from research assessment exercise to research excellence framework. And here in Spain, we are very focused in the publish or perish evaluation. And maybe we will in the future look ahead what in other countries are doing to assess other types of impact. The first way to assess other impact is to have research agendas. We lack of that agendas here. And as a conclusion, we will share with you a question. Will we keep living apart together? Because we think we have the feeling that actually the people in the area are in each position, in each journal, but we are not mingling each other in the projects. So our idea was to do this overview, and when we started, we decided that we will focus in Europe, but in European Union, because it was a twin presentation to that yesterday did Angel Borrego, and in collaboration, because European Union programs, mostly Erasmus program and framework programs, research program, had poured a lot of money in these projects, in this bid in order to build a European research area, an education research area, an education European education area, but we are maybe you can correct us, but we don't have found deeply and consistently data and results about how to evaluate and what have been the outputs of these programs in terms of collaboration, building a strong relationship with European countries, members in the area of LIS. Later we will come back to this slide, but the impression is that you can see here the green circles that are EU member countries has no more collaboration between them than with the red lines, red circles points that are non-European Union member countries. And the strength of the lines between them are not especially strong between some countries. We will see later. So I won't be deeper in the data, because we won't be short in this presentation in order to have more room for discussion. We will put in the website the presentation with our script in order if some of you have interest to know the methodological details of the exploitation. We have found that Scopus is a good database because their coverage is broader than Web of Science, but there are some methodological details of exploiting the data that is cumbersome. For instance, we don't have had the opportunity up to now to exploit affiliation data because they are very much problems of authority control of the names of the affiliation and so on, but we will do in the future. Sorry. Only you can see here, sorry, now. You can see here two tables. In the right, you have a table of 15 journals that we have exploited for the long run from 1919 until 2014. Some data we have tried to parse the data for this long run. And for the short period, that is 2010-2014, we have worked with 151 journals out of 201 that is in the list of LIS journals in Scopus. well, we have decided to select the 151 journals for the shorter period analysis, doing a correlation analysis of the citation pattern of all of 201 and each of one, and some very focused in computer journals were skipped, were deleted of our analysis. This is 15 journals that could be considered core, outstanding, and classical library journals, but in the other list we have journals that are in the computer science and the library information science classification of Scopus, but that have works that have been very well seated between the set. Here, the phenomenon of, here you are in the long run, 1990 to 2014, with the data from 15 journals. You can here see the trends. The yellow line is United Kingdom. The blue is other European countries that are not in the top 5. The red line is Spain. And yesterday we see that it seems Spain is a powerhouse in library information science research. We can debate later because it's a little odd, this success, or not. And you can see here other countries like Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Especially, I think Belgium and Netherlands are very powerful for the same reason that is Spain, because in these trends, after 2000, bibliometrics output have a very important share of the pie. In the case of Spain, especially from 2000 point, three elements explain this growth. The level of, the important level of bibliometrics works, the change of the behavior of the researchers, feeling that if they don't publish in international journals, they don't get promoted. And the third, in the third reason is that a lot of other researchers from other areas, for instance, computer science, management, and especially any area that wants to assess their area, publish in centrometrics and so on. And this explains that a lot of people coming from other areas is publishing in Spain in journals classified in Scopus as LIS journals. If we compare this data of the output, general and raw output, we can see that all the 3 areas, Europe, United States, and the other countries, or the rest of the world, are converging to a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 share of the output. And you can see Europe is the yellow one, is just in the middle, mostly as the central point of 33.3%. If we focus the analysis on the last 5 years, 2010 to 2014, and counting the authorships, we can see the same data that Virginia explained us yesterday, that at the European level, the lead is United Kingdom, and second is Spain, a little odd, because in more other areas of research is not the case. And well, just for the data, for the sake of the transparency of the data, we share with you this slide, but I don't go further with it. My goodness. But if we normalize the data against the population, you can see here that there is a position over the overrepresentation of the output in LIS research. In the case of United Kingdom, Spain, and Netherlands, we quit the data of the smallest countries. And you can see another situation, strange, that Germany, France, and Italy are underrepresented. I think this is interesting to study that could be related the way that Angel Borrego discovered is expressed the teaching and the way the education in LIS is organized in those countries. For us, should be for Spanish a reason of reflection in order to focus our debate not only in the fees students have to pay, but in the sustainability of the system. Maybe in Spain we have growth too much, and we have to do an assessment to be more focused in some things with more quality. Maybe we have grown a lot, and we are overrepresenting the area. Maybe, or not, we can discuss. Well, another issue that interests much for us, we are a school with a professional background, is the analysis of the relationship between, the collaboration between practitioners and academics. It's for me difficult to say myself as an academic because I have been librarian before, and academics sound very odd, and I understand people's colleagues from me that say you are academic is a little bit segregationist. And we have the idea at the beginning to exploit the data of the affiliation in the Scopus database, but was very difficult. At the same time, we thought that will be interesting to analyze the collaboration between academics and practitioners in professional symposium, professional conference, professional meeting. Here you are, another interesting data is the trend from 1984 to 2013 in the Jornadas Españolas de Documentación. And you can see here, at the beginning, the red line are professional, was they publish almost the 80% of the papers in the jornadas. And when the discipline in Spain get more consolidated, people get the chair and sit in the chair at the university, started to publish in the jornadas, because at the beginning we were very concerned we need to be recognized with our peers in the profession, and a lot of people from the academia went to these jornadas until this peak here around 2005. That is just when started the skyrocketing trend in publication in international journals. And you can see here now this is a relative figures, because have not absolute figures, because the absolute figures of papers in these jornadas have dropped a lot because this is a crisis of general meetings like this. You can see here that we started at 80% of professionals in the jornadas, and now we come back here. Last week they have the last edition of the jornadas, and we haven't exploited the data. But this is interesting because the participation of professionals in the jornadas as authors, only academics, or sharing authorship with professional, have dropped a lot. For us, it's very dangerous that we are in a divorce of the profession, and this should be a question of concern. Tomás Vallet yesterday said they moved the focus of the journal that began as a newsletter because the publisher pays game, and maybe we will extend this analysis to El Profesional de la Información to see what is happening, who is publishing, and what kind of collaboration between academics and professional are in your journal, because it could be a coupling. Our hypothesis is that in El Profesional and other journals, the situation could be the same, is our hypothesis. Well, the production is, European Union production is focused mainly on few journals, despite there are 151 journals with production from European countries. You can see the 10 top titles with the greatest number of EU papers. You can see later in the slides. I only want to underline the fact that only 2 journals, or 2 proceedings in the top 10 contains the word or the semantic root of library, biblio. The first one is not the case because libraries here is the equivalent of journal or papers or something like that. It's not related to the libraries as a service. And the second one, Zeitschrift for Biblioteconomia and Bibliographie, is from Germany, and it's the only one in the top 10 that the World Library is here. Yes, nothing new for you because you were yesterday here, and here what the name library is say a word a lot of people try to avoid. But in the case, for instance, another thing we can underline is that the rank in order of from most paper published and to less published articles published in that journal is not very coincident between the rank for European Union and USA. And it's interesting also to see when we go to the top down, the top less journal, the top journals with less papers. As you can see, all of these journals, Europe people are not very interested in, and all the journals have the library in the title. Even the last one, that is Technical Service Quarterly, but the World Library is a leader. And you can see here the rank from for USA and for Europe is very different. Well, our explanation is that in the States, a lot of professional librarians, mainly academic professional librarians, have the same rules to get promoted and for promotion and tenure, and they have to publish in academic journals like college and research libraries and so on. For instance, college and research library in these times, in this analysis, has 0 papers in this period, 2010 to 2014, 0 papers from Europe. That is very odd because it's the most outstanding journal for academic librarianship in the world, or in North America, but the contribution from Europe is very low. Here you are the top 3 titles in each country. And another important thing, I have explained that in Europe we're crazy, we are fans of bibliometrics and scientometrics and so on, and it's good, but for us the problem is not to have much papers or a lot of papers in this area, but there is a disequilibrium. We have loopholes in other areas. You can see later, there are a lot of important areas of our research agenda, or hidden research agenda, that are not very present in the output. Here you can see, if you take into account all the journals, scientometrics is the first one in three countries, but in the top 10 there is in 21 of 28 countries, scientometrics is the top journal. But if you drop journals from national orientation, for instance, Croatia, Austria, Spain, France, and Germany, and Portugal has journals indexed in the Scopus that publish in the national language. If you drop these journals, you can see that in Spain and Austria also scientometrics is the first journal by number of papers. Let's go to the research agenda mapped against the keywords in the Scopus databases. I know Peter Bakari is outstanding and long worker in this area, and later maybe, sure, he will explain us. Just we have explored the keywords in the Scopus database, and we have done this general picture of the keywords in that 9,000 records with European Union authors. As you can see, libraries is not a central point, but appears, is here. Academics library is here. This is a journal for the 28 countries in Europe, but it's not in a central point. But and this slide could suggest us all the issues, all the themes are in the agenda that express the output. But if we go deeper, country by country, we can see a lot of loopholes and opportunities to collaborate between countries. For instance, we have confronted Spain versus UK. Well, you can see clear that United Kingdom, British people are not so preoccupied, so foolish for bibliometrics as we are. It's not a criticism. I work in bibliometrics also. But I think we are, here you can see the World Libraries appears here because it appears because it passes the threshold, but it's very small, as you can see. And the main things is Spain, bibliometrics, universities, evaluation, internet, research, webometrics, citation analysis, and in the case of United Kingdom, is the only country that appears or passes the threshold, the keyword public libraries. Despite in the United Kingdom and in the States, the degrees are dropping the world libraries, and not in the Spain case, but we are more traditional, the international output of our research is not reflecting this area of work that Terry Wedge said suggested that until now have a share of the market job very important. Libraries in Spain also are the main area of occupation. But you can say, well, it's the case of Spain. You can see here, I try, Italy against Germany. It seems that it's the same, it's a similar pattern, that bibliometrics is more important for Italian research than to German researchers. Maybe if we can go further, and we will try, not Jordi, in the analysis of the affiliation of the field of the records, we can see that the contribution to bibliometrics works in each country, Spain and Germany, has been done for LIS researchers, but also for any researchers in chemistry, physics, linguistics, neurolinguistics, etc., that have discovered that they can analyze their output as a national sector to express how wonderful they are or how weak they are, if they are very critics. So that in the Spain case and Italian, we have the suspicion that a lot of economists, people doing econometrics, chemometrics, and so on, with good mathematical skills, can do the same papers that, or better maybe, that we do for symptometrics, and this is the case. Well, in order to analyze the trends in the keywords, we put the focus, we highlight this moment, 2000, because it's the point other countries, Spain and Netherlands and Belgium, started to grow. I think Scientometrics in the last 10 years has published a lot of more papers. I think now the policy of Scientometrics is to publish short articles, but many papers, a lot of papers, and this is the trend. You can see this moment, 2000 to 2005, 2009, represented here in the rankings of keywords, the more important keywords, in the aggregate of the long-term period for the 15 journals. And you can see clearly 3 winners and 3 losers. Information retrieval, bibliometrics and research, 3 losers. Information retrieval systems, you can see here is more a conceptual software orientation and a more hardware mechanical orientation here as like databases and libraries are the losers. It's not strange, but it's important, and you can see that internet, information management, and information science are more or less stalled in the middle of the ranking. But as I said, excuse me, the turning point is just when Spain, other countries, Netherlands, Belgium start to grow their total output. Well, sorry. Let's turn to the central point of our presentation. I will try to finish soon. The problem is for us that the collaboration or the level of collaboration is very low. And we confronted this with the case of the United States, and we discovered that even in the United States, the level of collaboration is worse. Here you are the trend in the 2010-2014 authors for paper in the States and in European Union. As you can see, if the mean, the prototypical author per paper case is 1.7, is not much room for complex collaborations. Professionals, people from other countries, from other disciplines. We think, we have to demonstrate, and we are in a work in progress, that is not the case. 1.7 doesn't grant room for deeper, complex, and rich collaboration. You can see better here with the 15 journals focus, the situation improves a little bit, but not much. In the 15 journals, more outstanding journals, the situation is 2005. What is interesting to underline, as a lot of people from computer science, management, and so on publish in these journals, and the behavior is similar to us. That means when they publish in LIS journals or classify it in the LIS section of Scopus, the behavior could be a little bit opportunistic because the standards and the requirements of the journal are less complex than other journals in their area. Well, this is the central slide. We have the hypothesis that the Erasmus program, framework programs that have facilitated a lot of meetings between people doing European projects haven't granted later good papers in outstanding journals. In general, it's a hypothesis we have to demonstrate, but the overall output of European Union countries is one person paper, 54.8, and only the international collaboration is 22.4%, and only 6.1% is intra-EU European Union collaboration. That means we have very much room, a great opportunity after this seminar to share our direction, our address cards, to start to work in this agenda. But this is, for us, is a way. People in the Commission, we are granting a lot of money for projects, and how much level of representation in projects, in papers, I have this money. Maybe it's not the case for all the areas, but in the case of library information science, computer science people publishing in journals that also are in Scopus, LIS subject classification, are not granting good papers in outstanding journals with the money they get from the European Commission. I think this could satisfy our colleagues from the United Kingdom, saying that Europe is something that only is a bureaucracy that spends money, but I have to say that the people that have obtaining more money from the European projects are British people. Here you are the Jordi, maybe. This is the network of European countries collaborating between them, European Union countries, and you can see not much because always these draws, these graphics are complex to see if you don't see country by country. But you can see that the ties between countries in some countries are not very important. If we compare the European Union countries between them and other European countries, the red circles, you can see that, the blue circles, you can see there is no important difference between what happens between European Union members and non-European members. It seems that it's not very important to get a stronger collaboration to be EU members or non-EU members. Maybe this could explain it because Norway, Switzerland, Turkey, another country, Serbia, Montenegro, now are members of the European Research Area and have the same right to be involved in those projects. But if we turn to the general overall worldwide analysis, European Union countries are the green ones, and all other countries, European or non-European, but not European Union members, at the red circles. And you can see that more, maybe, you can see later when you see the slides, some non-European Union members have stronger ties and more volume of the circles, that means papers published with European Union authors, than other European Union countries, despite the size of the country. For instance, you can see here Norway has more relevance than Hungary, Lithuania, Latvia, and so on. That means we have room to cooperate a bit more in this area with Eastern European countries, for instance. If we focus in one country, we have chosen Spain, you can see that Spain has only ties with 11 of the 28 European Union countries, only 11. And we have no collaboration at all with Eastern European countries. Maybe we can share because there are countries more close to our economic situation. Poland, for instance, we are similar by size, economically also maybe, and we don't have collaboration with Poland, for instance. And as you can see, of course, our collaboration ties with Hispano-America, the general region, is the strongest one in this network. So, just until now, up to now in this presentation, the work in progress we have now. Now, our doubts, our hesitations. Well, with this data, to be published, to be communicated in a very good methodological approach and to pass the reviews comments, we should go further how to filter, how to analyze this data. Of course, we have to analyze by affiliation information, but also someone could ask us, well, why you have decided to analyze LIS research through the papers in journals classified as an LIS Scopus, knowing that that means nothing because a lot of people of other areas publish in LIS journals. We have decided that because it's the way we can express the opportunity of collaboration and the fact that we are not alone in this world, but we are not alone, but not living together, as in our conclusion we will underline. How to delimit, or delimit the limit. But this question is important, but not so much to be stalled in this question. Another important obsessive question around, you start with the article Ernest mentioned yesterday, Williamson, is how to define research. All the published papers represent really the output of research or not? How we have to filter the 9,000 papers we have analyzed? It's not easy. If we have to do by hand, it's not possible to work with this data. And how to assess the research agendas? Just, in our case, we decided to work with LIS publication because it was the easy way to explore the research subject on LIS, doing research by keywords and so on is another medium. And to do in LIS department was cumbersome because, as yesterday Angel Borrego said, it's very difficult to map what is a LIS department. And so it's because we decided the easy way. But you can have an opposite opinion. Well, in a book that has a similar focus that this seminar, these authors in the introduction say, the LIS field has a declining hold on the research and teaching area related to the phenomenon of information, and this is the case. How to define research? A lot of definition, what is research in general in any area, but here in library information science, I think is more, I want to say pathological obsession, but maybe sometimes yes. And I think that this canonical definition from Shira could be also now useful. It's from 1964 in a special issue of LIS research method, published in Library Trends. All is online, all the issue. And the important thing, the focus is you have to have an idea of what is the question you have to want to get the answer, and you have to do with data and processing this data and confronting this data with the hypothesis you have. In another more exactly way, this is the expression of Shira. But to apply this to the 9,000 paper is very difficult. And usually, everyone in bibliometrics used to say, well, published paper is an expression of research done, and not this is the case. And for instance, at the end, the most important thing for us, what are the research agendas in every country or in Europe? And as I said, I started to visit the same websites Angel Borrego visited for education, but for research. And during the Easter times in vacation, I tried, and I decided to finish because it was very difficult. But fortunately, I found two examples of possible research agendas. Some countries, for instance, this is a very interesting case of Sweden. Maybe here in the room there are people from Sweden. The Swedish Library Association did a Delphi study to ask people in the field, librarians, what was their priorities for research, and they did a very important report ranking for each type of libraries. This is very important, and is not the case here in Spain, sure. Another source to ask for a research agenda is how people funding research decide what to fund. I think Horizon 2020 is a very good source to hear what the society, politicians, people, stakeholders that decide the agenda want. And they want, first one thing, they want projects problem-oriented, not disciplinary-oriented, and second one, they want people mingling from the different areas. And here you can example, the young generation in innovative, inclusive, and sustainable Europe, rhetoric maybe, finished last 28th of May, but if you go to the topic, lifelong learning for young adults, better policies for growth and inclusion in Europe. If you remember, or you can see later the slides, you could see that in Sweden, public librarians said long life learning is a main theme for them to be researched. That is a important match. Well, let's finishing. We have decided this metaphor of living apart together because we think all of here in this room maybe are living together apart. We can hear, but later we will be very distant. As well, we are distant from people from other areas here in the University of Barcelona and so on. So we need, the same way that Europe suggests we have to have a network of countries, we have to be networked with other areas that, like digital humanities, cultural heritage, sociology, so on, e-government, all these tags we have explained in the relationship to education. So I think we have to be not in the same neighborhood, the journals, the meetings, but also in the same house, living together, not apart, and publishing in an interdisciplinary way, not in a multidisciplinary way. We have very much room to improve for collaboration in the LIS area, because whether we are not able, we have not the capacity to be in this competition, or whether this competition doesn't consider us. We don't have the answer now, but sure, this is the case. Thank you very much.